I completely forgot how hard this song slaps. This song being from GTA Liberty City Stories, the prequel to GTA 3. Ever since I've been going down this rabbit hole of pirating old legally buying some of the older GTA games in the series, I've always been meaning to play Liberty City Stories for quite some time now. This was Rockstar's first attempt at making a completely portable GTA game onto the PSP. It became a super easily handheld device game for people to play when you're on the go if you didn't own a PS2 back in the day. The game's basically been overlooked as time goes on because it's a PSP game, but I feel like Liberty City Stories is kind of like a second shot of GTA 3 in a way. When I made my GTA 3 video, all of my complaints of the game mainly revolved around the game's gameplay mechanics and how annoying they were, since it was Rockstar's first ever attempt at making a 3D open world game. And well, Rockstar looked at GTA 3 and I guess you could say they revamped it with Liberty City Stories, which pretty much cleaned up some of my complaints that I had with 3. I was supposed to include this in my original GTA 3 video, but shit happened and I didn't. So in this more smaller review video, we're gonna be going back and looking over the greatness of GTA Liberty City Stories, what I think of the game, and giving it the attention that it deserves. We're back in Liberty City, but this time around it's 1998, 3 years before the GTA 3 storyline takes place. In this game, we play as Tony Cipriani, a returning character that we were briefly introduced to in GTA 3 when we had met the Leone family as Claude, but he wasn't really a fleshed out character and was only in the game for a few minutes to give us a few missions, making him a pretty unknown character in GTA 3. And this brings me to something about Liberty City Stories that makes it feel super unique to me. We get to know what all of the characters' backgrounds are like. In GTA 3, we know little to nothing about any of the characters and they just seem like robots giving us things to do for them. But with characters like Salvatore Leone, Donald Love, and Tony now as the main protagonist that we didn't know shit about in 3 showing back up, we actually get to see what their past was like, which is pretty cool.
Tony, I know what you did, and no one is more grateful than me, honestly.
The way Rockstar created Liberty City in this game is made in a way to still depict GTA 3. They clearly used the same assets from 3 but implemented a ton of more improved features rather than just building it from the ground up. Obviously, by the time this game was released, players had already gotten used to much more bigger open world games like San Andreas and Vice City. And since this game was on a budget and was put onto a handheld device, objectively, it's kind of one of the worst GTAs in the series. But Liberty City Stories puts the player back in the Liberty City saga and gives us a completely new perspective on all the GTA 3 characters that we were briefly introduced to but didn't know that well. It was essentially a GTA 3 2.0. Okay. No. The main sentiment of Liberty City Stories is that Tony Cipriani is working for Salvatore Leone and is in the position to keep all the other Mafia families that are trying to claim Liberty City out of the picture, so that the Leone family can remain as the most powerful Mafia family in the entire city, which is done by Tony completing a multitude of jobs that he is assigned to do by different members of the Leone family. The storyline is very similar to GTA 3, but I would definitely say that it's more improved. In GTA 3, Claude was just doing a bunch of random missions with the main plot being revolved around trying to get revenge on his girlfriend Catalina. But in Liberty City Stories, it takes a random character that Claude meets who's already established in the Leone family and tells his past and story of his rise to power in Liberty City.
And it's all your fault.
My fault?
Oh yeah.
My fault.
It's a simple and straightforward storyline, but it's more improved in terms of story and in terms of gameplay wise. There's a wider variety of weapons like miniguns, there's different vehicles like motorcycles, which weren't in GTA 3 because they weren't added until Vice City came out. You can fly helicopters, you can swim. Oh wait, you can't. Yeah, Rockstar, how can we still not swim in this game? But you get the point, there's more shit in the game. Now, there are a few issues I have with this game. The controls are, well, I can't really share on a PSP portable game's controls, right? The most annoying thing for me with the game is mainly that the controls almost feel identical to GTA 3. You can't take any sort of cover while shooting at enemies, which is just such a pain. And you also can't jump over ledges, which is just why? And I get it, with a PSP game, it would be very awkward trying to implement a control scheme that would be able to let the player take cover somewhere and shoot. But it just makes it that there's no possible way for you to avoid any sort of gunfire when you're in the middle of a shootout with other enemies. The camera does lock onto targets when you shoot at them, which makes it so that you can wipe out enemies in a matter of seconds, which is definitely very easy. But a lot of the times, it gets very wonky and it will lock onto someone else and not the person that you're trying to shoot. So I guess the most important part is to make sure that you're strapped with armor and weapons, because the enemies can take cover and shoot you, and they have much better accuracy than you, which is pretty bullshit, but hey, it is what it is. And a big thing I can say that this game struggled with was its performance issues. The game was ported over to the PlayStation 2 in June of 2006, and it ran horrible. It would hit a constant 15 to 25 FPS, and it even struggled on the PSP, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense because the PS2 can run more stuff than a PSP, but they both struggled, so shit. And since how like we just said how this game is very similar to GTA 3 because Rockstar basically used the exact same assets from 3, the game's overall gameplay aspect was a little step up, but not really by much. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you guys that Liberty City Stories was a complete groundbreaking masterpiece with so much life to it because it really wasn't. When I went into playing this game, I went into expecting it to be a budget version of any GTA game. The game for the most part doesn't really have any memorable characters. Like we have Salvatore Leone, which I guess is a memorable character since he is the most powerful person in Liberty City. Donald Love, Vincenzo, I hate this guy. Tony Cipriani, Avery Carrington from Vice City. I don't know why they brought him to Liberty City. And then after that, it's like, can you really name any other characters off the top of your head? I will give the game credit though, it was the first true Mafia based game of the series. In Vice City, GTA 3, and in GTA 4, we do work for mobsters here and there briefly, but in Liberty City Stories, the entire game is based around just trying to keep a Mafia family irrelevant in the city and take out any other Mafia families that are intruding. I mean, the game is literally based off of the 1990 Mafia movie Goodfellas, as the game references it as a clothing item. And since that this was a PSP portable game with a much smaller screen and a completely different kind of control scheme than a PlayStation 2 game, the missions were alright, underwhelmingly easy, if not boring. Most of the missions only lasted a few minutes and were all just shootout or driving missions, which after a while, that gets really stale. Now, the game did have racing missions, which I can't lie, I was pretty fucking dog shit at, but it was cool to see Rockstar gave players a semi-variety and change of pace on the PSP. But overall, the missions were just blah, just got to the point where I was just trying to hurry them up because they were just so uninteresting. And all of what I'm saying about the game could probably just be subjected to my opinion. I was born in the late 2000s, so I didn't grow up around the PlayStation 2/PSP era, more around the Xbox 360 PS4 era. And I feel like the people who say that Liberty City Stories is goated are the people who played it when they were kids and are nostalgic for it. But for folks like me who are nostalgic for it one single bit, going in and playing this game where we're used to more ambitious open world titles, it doesn't really do it for us. And I was going to attempt to make a story section for this video like how I usually do, but the story is just so dull. It's literally just Tony doing a bunch of loosely connected missions for the Leone family so they could be the most powerful Mafia crew in Liberty City. It's very boring, and quite frankly, I feel like I would bore you guys to death with it. But anyway folks, Liberty City Stories is an alright game. Would I personally recommend you play it? To be honest, it's really up to you. I only played it so I could share you guys what I think of it, and just so I could say that I beat the game because I really wanted to see what the game was really about. I know this video was a bit on the shorter side, but there's really not that much I could say about Liberty City Stories. I mainly just wanted to say what I think of the game and why I think it's not the greatest Grand Theft Auto game in the series. Just know everyone, next video, Red Dead Redemption 2. Super excited for that. Feel free to leave any game suggestions you guys would be interested in me covering in the future. Thank you all so much for the support recently. You guys are the best, and I appreciate you guys watching my videos because this is so much fun to do. But with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.